Perfect. Perfect.
All right, everybody, what's going on? And welcome to today's edition of SWAC Talk. This is the show we cover the SWAC inside and out. I'm your tour guide around the SWAC. C. Wells coming at you. And today we're gonna recap the SWAC championship game. Florida A&M and Prairie View, they did battle in a rainy game, and the game had multiple rain delays. Started at like 3 o'clock, ended at like 8. Multiple weather delays. But Rattlers were able to pick up the victory, and we're going to talk about this game. We're also going to take a look at it was announced on HBCU Sports last night, early this morning. Texas Southern coaching candidates are out, at least a list that's circulating. So we're going to talk about that, and we're going to get ready for this, for the Celebration Bowl. So, like I said, Rattlers pick up the victory. They had to Atlanta to take on Howard in the Celebration Bowl. Two teams, first time they're both playing in Celebration Bowl. So gonna have a first time Celebration Bowl winner. Hopefully the SWAC can pick up a victory here, and we'll talk about that game as we get closer to it. But before we do anything else, man, y'all check out the socials. Facebook is SWAC Talk, Instagram SWAC Talk, Twitter SWAC Talk 76. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We're making our way to 1,200 subs, so thank y'all for subscribing. Definitely appreciate it. If you haven't done that already, hit that button. If you have, thank you. Don't forget to like the video and comment your thoughts on any topic that's up on the docket today. And don't forget to hit that join button to become a member. Also, if you don't want to do that, you get the super thanks, or you can hit the Cash App $SWAG Talk to donate to the show. So let's go ahead and get into this, man. We're going to go ahead and start off with the reason why we're here, and that's the SWAC championship game. Like I said, this game was delayed at the start because of weather. And in the third quarter, I think it hit another weather delay, but that did not slow down the Rattlers. They jumped out to a 21-0 lead early in the game before Prairie View got on the board, and then Prairie View actually cut this to 21-14 before FAMU scored 2 touchdowns to make the final margin 35-14. Terrell Jennings opened up the scoring for FAMU with a 1-yard run that came with 10:41 left in the first quarter. That was a 4-play, 75-yard drive that took 145 off the clock. That came after a Prairie View interception to open on that opening drive. Rattlers marched 75 yards to get the score, 7-0. With 4:48 left in the first quarter, Jeremy Musa 1-yard run for the Rattlers, extra point good. That kept a 7-play, 57-yard drive that took 3:22 off the clock, making the score 14-0. With 10:50 left in the second quarter, Jaquez Yant 1-yard run for the Rattlers, extra point good. That kept a 9-play, 71-yard drive that took 5:10 off the clock, 21-0. At that point, Prairie View would finally get something going and score a touchdown with 44 seconds left in the first quarter. Caleb Johnson will get a 8-yard touchdown run, extra point good. That kept a 9-play, 80-yard drive that took 3:06 off the clock, 21-7, and that will be our halftime score. After halftime, another weather delay. After that delay, Prairie View came back with 7:53 left in the third when Amar Antoine got a 35-yard touchdown run, extra point good. That kept the 2-play, 43-yard drive that took 49 seconds off the clock, 21-14. With 4:35 left in the third quarter, the Rattlers would answer with a 32-yard pass from Musa to Riley, extra point good, 6 plays, 65 yards, 3:13 off the clock. That made the score 28-14. And then with 13:29 left in the game, Terrell Jennings would run a 33-yard touchdown, extra point good, 5 plays, 88 yards, 2:33 off the clock, making the final score 35-14. Statistically, Prairie View 13 first downs, FAMU 23. 183 yards on the ground for the Panthers, 30 carries, 6.1 yards per carry, 2 touchdowns. FAMU 229 on the ground, 41 carries, 5.6 yards per carry, and 4 touchdowns. 91 yards passing for Prairie View, 7 of 18, no touchdowns, 3 interceptions. 219 through the air for the Rattlers, 14 of 24, 1 touchdown, no interceptions. 274 yards of offense for the Panthers, 48 plays, 5.7 yards per play, no fumbles. They had 8 penalties for 68 yards. 448 total offense for the Rattlers, 65 plays, 6.9 yard per play. They also didn't fumble, and they had 6 penalties for 50 yards. Prairie View averaged 40.5 yards per punt. FAMU 51.3. Time of possession, Prairie View 24-41. FAMU 35-19. Uh, Prairie View 1 for 7 on third down, 0 for 0 on fourth down. FAMU 5 for 12 on third down, 1 or 2 on fourth down. Panthers were 1 for 1 in the red zone. FAMU 3 or 4. No sacks for the Panthers, 2 for the Rattlers. 2 for 2 on extra points for Prairie View, 5 or 5 for FAMU. Prairie View did not attempt a field goal. FAMU was 0 for 1. Individually, Trazon Connolly, 7 of 14 for 91 yards for the Panthers. No touchdowns, 1 interception. He was sacked twice. Chris Heron came in when Connolly went out briefly with an injury. He was 0 for 3 with an interception. Kenneth Patterson was also 0 for 1 with an interception. Musa 13 of 23 for 188 yards, 1 touchdown, no interception, no sacks. Yant 1 for 1 for 31 yards. Riley 0 for 1. Heron led the Panthers with 7 carries for 70 yards, average 10 yards per carry. Johnson 10 for 56 and 1 touchdown, average 5.6 yards per carry. Antoine 6 for 52 and a touchdown, average 8.7 yards per carry. Jennings 17 carries, 133 yards, 2 touchdowns, average 6 yards per carry. Will Hoyt 8 carries, 57 yards, average 7.1 yards per carry. Riley 2 for 28. He averaged 14 per carry. Yant 4 for 16 and a touchdown. Spiller led Prairie View with 3 catches for 27 yards. Savage 1 for 22. Bloomfield 1 for 16. Metcalf 1 for 16. Jenkins 1 for 10. Riley 5 catches, 132 yards and 1 touchdown for the Rattlers. Young 4 for 63. Pruitt 1 for 15. Manigo 1 for 8. Sharee 2 for 7. Dean 1 for -6. Keyshawn Johnson 11 tackles to lead the Panthers, 9 for Trevion Green. Warren Schenkel had 7. Schenkel, Green, and Harris each had 1 tackle for loss. Johnson and Marshall had a half a tackle for loss apiece. No sacks, no forced fumbles, and no interceptions for the Panthers. Isaiah Major 6 tackles for FAMU. Kendall Bowler 6 tackles. Javon Morgan 5. Alan Smith 5. Tackles for loss: Dunn 1.5. Hunt 1. Saye 1. Ash a half a tackle for loss. Hunt and Saye each had a sack apiece. No forced fumbles, interceptions. Morgan had 2, and Wilson had 1. So, like I said, this was really a typical FAMU game. Prairie View, they got off to a rough start early. They did, kind of cut into the lead in the middle portion of the game, but FAMU was able to respond, which is what they do. They take punches pretty well. Prairie View hit a couple big plays, but FAMU never wavered. They never really lost sight of what's going on, and that's been the hallmark of this team all season. They continue to take punches and they respond. They can give a punch. Don't get me wrong, they can give a punch really well, but they can take one as well. And you have to play a super clean game against this team. You can't make mistakes. Yes, the passing game wasn't as seamless as it should have been. The weather kind of maybe had an issue to do with that, but Musa kind of missed some throws, which has kind of been par for the course for him. But when FAMU can run the ball like they ran it in this game, and really the way they ran it all season, they're tough to beat because they have multiple guys that are big bodies that they can get a ball to, and they can weigh your defense down. And then once you start to account for the run game and, bring your guys up to stop the run, they have speedsters that can get behind you. And Marcus Riley really had an explosive game today, getting behind those Prairie View defensive backs, which was a problem that Prairie View had all season, was the pass defense. They gave up a lot of explosive plays, and it happened here today as well. But FAMU was able to, even with the weather being what it was, they were able to control the game by running the ball. Prairie View had a pretty solid running game as well, which is their strength. They just did not have the opportunity offensively through the air to really make this game be a tighter game. 3 interceptions is going to hurt you in a game like this. A couple sacks are going to hurt you in a game like this. Your quarterback getting banged up hurts you in a game like this. All of that is from FAMU. FAMU did that. They put the pressure on Prairie View. They made it tough. Prairie View had a good first drive. They didn't end in an interception. FAMU scored off of that drive, and they were, that's just what you go through when you play this team. You have to be solid in all phases. You can't slip up. You can't miss an assignment. You can't miss a throw. You have to play your best game and try to influence them to play their less than best game. And that did not happen. That did not happen 8 other times in conference play. So that's why this team is going to Atlanta, which they were picked first by a lot of people. I think I put them second probably because I was kind of iffy on how they would handle the J State game, which they won it convincingly. But they went from wire to wire as far as a lot of people are concerned, and they showed that they knew what they had to do, and they never let up. Even when they had the division wrapped up, they could have easily let up and lost a game in that stretch after they won the division, but they never did. They had a couple games early where they didn't play well in the first half, but they never wavered from what they want to do. The play calling on offense, they ran a lot of things that set up other things, and they caught Prairie View unaware, unprepared. I don't know what it was, but they did what they needed to do. And Prairie View, they're gonna take some heat from people for losing basically 80 to 21 in 2 games against this team. But honestly, the way most teams in the West are right now, you probably wasn't going to get that much better of a game. I mean, all these teams had issues, and FAMU can capitalize on everybody's issues. So playing in Bragg is tough regardless. So this was the way this was supposed to turn out. You can argue maybe you do away with divisions and you take whoever was the second team, and at this point this season bound a better game, but that's not here nor there. You play with the way the format is, and sometimes you get good games, sometimes you don't. This was important for FAMU to win this game because they needed to get over the hump and win the conference. They needed to exercise a lot of demons, which they did this season, and now they go to Atlanta where they take on the Howard Bison on December 16th at 11 a.m. Central on ABC in the Celebration Bowl in Atlanta. So of course, we're going to talk about this game a lot leading up to it, and we'll preview this game the week of the game. So last football game in the HBCU realm, FCS HBCU round coming on December 16th. So definitely keep eyes on that. There's going to be a lot of talk all over the YouTube about this game, and we're definitely going to cover it here as we get closer. I'm working. I've been saying this the last couple of weeks, but I'm working on a project where I want to compare the differences of each SWAC offense from last season to this season, and I'm just about finished with it. I just got some mathematics to do, so I'm probably going to roll that out sometime either next week or in this week or next week. I don't know exactly when, but whenever I finish it, I'm gonna record it and put that out. Of course, there's coaching search news and recruiting and portal news coming. A lot of football still coming at you. Got basketball going to start sprinkling in, but not too much because it's still football time. Won't really get knee deep in the basketball probably until January once conference play starts. But speaking of coaching searches and all of that stuff, this I got this from HBCUsports.com. They're stating that Texas Southern has narrowed their search to 4 candidates and hope to fill a position before the end of the month, which to me, in a way, this is good, putting these candidates out here, but in a way, putting it out here, these coaches' current teams and other suitors an opportunity to kind of get on them maybe ahead of time. But we'll go through this list. Texas Southern, like I said, they narrowed their search down to 4 guys. They hope to fill this position before the end of the month, which could be any time. That could be this week, next week, but they just want to make sure they're done before December ends. A source with knowledge of the search indicated that Texas Southern is focused on former HBCU coach and current Tennessee running back coach Jerry Mack, whose name has been linked to a lot of jobs over the years. Benedict coach Chennis Berry, again, another guy whose name has been linked to Southern and South Carolina State. Valdosta State coach Tremaine Jackson, who's a guy that I've been pretty high on as being a guy who could be the next up and coming head coach. And Fred McNair from Alcorn. Um, and that's been one, I heard that McNair got an extension. I think somebody said that this week, but we'll see. But kind of looking at these guys, like I said, Texas Southern announced in November that the contract for Clarence McKinney, which paid him $306,000, would not be renewed beyond the 2023 season, and it expires on December 15th. Um, so I'm assuming they can't really do anything until the end. Since he was named head coach in 2018, the program under McKinney struggled to find wins, resulting in him amassing a record of 12-35. His last game was a 35-34 loss to Pine Bluff on November 18th. After Texas Southern built a 21-point lead in that game, they finished the season at 3-8. The most intriguing names connected to Texas Southern are Berry and McNair. Berry, who led Benedict to his second consecutive D2 playoff appearance, figures to be a coveted candidate for a lot of openings. McNair, who HBCU Sports learned has expressed interest in the Texas Southern job. He's a 2-time SWAC Coach of the Year who spent the last 7 seasons in Lorman. Just completed the final year of his current contract. The source did express that Mac coachship might be tempered by concern about whether Texas Southern will be able to accommodate his salary, which is something that I've said about a few of these guys that we're looking at for some of these positions. These guys coming from Power 5 jobs, they make 5, 6, 700,000 as a position coach. So, will to take a look at. But he played at Jackson State and Arkansas State, and he has coaching ties to HBCU football, including stints as a assistant at Pine Bluff and Jackson State before spending 3 seasons as head coach at North Carolina Central. The source said, is high on Jackson, who led Valdosta to a 12-2 record and a D2 postseason quarterfinal appearance. Texas Southern wants to complete its search and name a coach before the Christmas holiday. So, as I said, this could be a good thing to get these names out here, but it could be a thing that you put these names out here that you're looking for, and somebody else got a chance to swoop in and catch them before they make their decision by Christmas time. So that's a very solid name, very solid group of guys on that list. You really can't go wrong with any of those guys. In the next couple of days, we'll start to get some other information on some of these other job searches. But that's a nice little appetizer heading into the week. So that's gonna do it for today's show, man. I thank y'all for tuning in and rocking with us, and we'll be back on Tuesday with our HBCU top 10. Not gonna be a lot of movement on it, but just want to go ahead and continue to do it as tradition. And then Wednesday we'll have I don't know what we're gonna do on the upcoming schedule since we don't have a game to preview. But we'll have a show coming Tuesday, show coming Wednesday, Swag Smoke live on Thursday. We'll do a show on Sunday as usual before we start to get ready for the Celebration Bowl. So with that being said, man, I'm your tour guide around the Swag Well signing out, and I will catch y'all on the rebound. Peace.